Hey guys, JT here with I'm gonna say part one, but there could be several parts that I actually do to this video. But I'm gonna start the build on this ZD Racing excuse me, buggy that I got from Banggood.com. So one thing that I always do when I do any of my builds and stuff is I remember a term when I was in a culinary arts school years and years ago. It was a term I think it was called mise en plot. And basically I think that's a French term. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I don't care. But it's basically having everything in place. Everything you're going to need to actually prepare the food and cook the food. There's nothing like going and preparing and cooking something and you got to run and get this or do that. You don't have this ingredient and stuff. So basically what you kind of see, what I have laid out here is all the components that I'm actually going to use for this buggy or use to build this buggy. So I have an older dynamite system. It's a taser system, but this is a 2800 kV motor that I'll be putting in there. And I believe this is 2-pole, it's not 4-pole. So it'll be fine for this. I wasn't going to put a high kV 4-pole motor in here anyway. And then of course I'll be using this ESC as well. I can't remember, this is an older model, but this should be 3S rated. So I'll be using this for the power plant for this car. For the servo, I'm going to use one of my Armor servos. This is of course Metal Gears, the ones that come in like their 8-scale trucks and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be using this to keep those tires and wheels turning quick and fast. Although it might be a little bit torquey for it, but it'll be fine for it. I don't have too many other servos. The only other ones I have is going to be some really high quality racing servos like this one right here. And I'm not going to put this one in. This is, you guys can see this real quick. This is one of the Spectrum servos. You know, this is a pretty expensive servo. So I'm not going to put that in here in case I'm running it out and I bash it and all that. Not saying that that servo couldn't take it, but I'm just going to use that one. And then for the radio, I'm just going to use this. I have a Force RC radio right here. I'm just going to use this in here. It's 2.4 gigahertz. It'll be enough to get the car running, going back and forth and give me good receptions and stuff with that. So I'm not going to go too much into the physical build probably for this video here. But one thing I am going to do is I am going to put, I did say I was going to put some oil in these differentials, but I'm actually going to run it like it is instead of getting it and have to take it apart and do all that, because I want to see some of the performance and how it holds up as it comes. But I am going to put a little bit of grease here into these into the diff gears here on the front and the rear. Just a little bit. I got some Tamiya grease in there that I'm going to put up in there. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to reduce some of that friction and stuff in there. I usually do it with all my cars when I have to build them. And some other cars that I get that I see is kind of dry in there. So it's not going to be a lot. Like I said, I'm just going to do a little bit of dab and just kind of rotate this around and let that rotate through. I'm pretty sure this just has grease inside these differentials here. But for what I plan on doing and stuff, it should be fine with that. So the first part of the build for this car that I'm going to do is going to be the servo, or of course constructing the steering components of this, and then also going ahead and adding the motor in, because I want to go ahead and do that first. Now they do give you an instruction manual, and let's see in this manual real quick. Said I was going to try to make this video not too long, but get this open real quick. They give you some double-sided tape in here, and some also different servo heads as well. So in case, I may switch out my servo now that I see that we have these. If they have a 23 tooth in there, which I think I may see, I'm not sure. I have to double check that and see, because I have a different servo I can use as well, but I may just stick to this one because the other one's kind of slow. It's I think 2400ths of a second. So anyway, looking at the instruction manual, I'm not sure where they actually want to start this build off at. So they're starting the build off in the instruction manual. I notice it's kind of at an angle here. If you were starting from scratch, if you had to just literally build it from scratch, like differentials and everything. So 90% of that is already done as far as the differentials and stuff. And then they go into, you guys can see that up there. Step 5 lower suspension arm assembly. That's pretty much assembled as well. All that's done there. So basically from this part, if you got this kit, yeah, you'll be skipping up to part 10. you'd actually be going literally almost to, yeah, part 11. Because you see that's kind of where it attaches to the chassis, kind of where my right hand is. You guys can see that there. There we go. You guys can see that there. We're going to be going to part 11 and building it up from there if you're to go to the instructions. Because you guys see here, this is the construction of number 12. We get this in this camera right there at the very top left-hand corner. There we go. You see that's kind of the construction of the slipper clutch and stuff. But that's already built. So that's for me. For the time that I have, that's kind of the beauty of all this, because a lot of this is already constructed together. Slipper clutch is pretty tight and good, so this ought to be good, but I can always loosen it just a tad bit if I needed to. So basically, you'll be starting basically from step number 11/12-ish if you got this kit to get it started. So I'll be working on that in the next, I don't know, couple of days or so, and kind of getting this build together. I'm going to, of course, check in here to make sure that I have all my components and stuff, which I'm pretty sure I do. I did see the ball bearings and stuff in here for the steering. I need to get a little container to put these screws in so I won't be losing them all over the place. But they do give you a pinion gear as well, and it does have a couple of little, looks like little BBs or something up in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Little pieces of metal, but I'll get that out. And I'm not sure what tooth this is because it doesn't really say. But I may put a higher tooth pinion gear in here. And it doesn't have the grub screw in there. But I see the grub screw right here. So that's why it's also good if you have like a little magnet mat or something. When you spread these screws and stuff out, they can actually stick to it. But it does have ball bearings for the steering and stuff as well. You guys see that there. So that's a plus. Of course, that's going to go in these components here. It's just going to slip right in there. So probably the next time you see this video, I'll have the motor in and then also the steering components and stuff as well. I would try to record it, but it's probably going to be pretty long. Like, this is already 7 minutes into this video, so I don't want to do a 5 or 6 part building series. It's going to be, you know, a couple hours. Some guys may like that, but I just don't have the time to try to film all that, and I can, of course, run out of space. You guys know I do that sometimes with my videos as well. So the next time you see this, I'll be constructing this part right here, and I'll tell you guys how long it took me to get this together. I can kind of do it just based off of looking at it, but I do recommend you, if you're doing it for the first time, to look at the manual and stuff. So batteries, I'm probably going to use one of these two. I'll probably use these because these are 60C batteries. I'll use it there, and of course I'll run it on 2S and then also 3S as well. I got some reaction 3S batteries I'll probably use in here that can fit pretty well. So other than that, guys, I wanted to at least start this off and show this to you guys, let you know that I am going and continuing with the build of it. I haven't just have it sitting around. Just haven't had a lot of time just yet, but I'm going to make some time this week to try to complete this build. So you guys have any questions, put them down below. If you've done this build before, put some of your comments down below, because some people are kind of new to this. So it'd be helpful for them to see that, whether they see in the video at the present time or later. Any comments or any helpful building tips you may have for them. So as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks guys for watching.